Alrighty, let's get this started. Hello and welcome to the Armored Combat Escalation Service podcast. Today is Monday, September 22nd, 2014. I am your host, Brandon, also known as Cattra Kell, and today with me I have a number of people. First off, we have Typhus, we also have Cat Spider, Man of Athens, Rush 2112, or 2112, Tychron, and Von Kessel. I believe that was everyone here as of right now. Probably more people will pop in after a little bit. So, welcome everybody.
Hello.
Yep.
Hey guys.
Howdy.
Hello.
Hi.
Alright, so let's go over some brief unit news. First of all, once again, in MWO, ACES is now set up as a faction. So if you do not have your in-game tags, please get a hold of someone. Everyone can invite people. Just today I had to invite someone because someone didn't know everyone can invite as of right now. So let's go down a little bit further into awards. So there's been a lot of awards given out recently. And I do mean a lot. So just try to run through this real quick. What is 42 has medium silver, heavy bronze, Spartan Lance, and lightning strike. Michael Krinsky has assault bronze. Mr. Tibbs, medium bronze. Cat Spider has Spartan Lance and lightning strike. Finring has Spartan Lance, lightning strike, medium unobtainium, heavy unobtainium, and the high damage club. Rush 2112 has Spartan Lance and lightning strike. Typhus has Spartan Lance and lightning strike. Red Scorpion has Spartan Lance and lightning strike. Zoological received the "you guys take this half, I'll take that half." Heavy Gold, Light Bronze, and Spartan Lance. Frisky Dingo, Spartan Lance and lightning strike. Kamikaze Rush, Spartan Lance and lightning strike. Iron Warsmith, Spartan Lance, lightning strike. Velcor, Spartan Lance, lightning strike, and assault bronze. The Black Knight, Spartan Lance, lightning strike, and assault bronze. Jeez, so many of you guys getting these awards. Holy shit. Thunderheart has Spartan Lance and lightning strike. Tychron has assault bronze. Ravenfire, heavy bronze. Mecha Kaiju, light unobtainium, heavy unobtainium. Lucky Sevens, high damage club. And then we have Man of Athens, who has his light bronze. Lennon, heavy mech gold, and Lucky 7. So that has been all the awards as of last week. Holy shit, guys. I love seeing this stuff. Speaking of awards as well, just on a side note, speaking of awards, if you do have ideas or anything like that for awards, make sure you go to the ACES appropriate section of the forums and let us know what you would like to see as far as awards and that sort of stuff. We always love hearing from people what they want to try to do to make MechWarrior a little bit more interesting. There's been no member promotions or anything like that this week, but make sure you keep.
Correct.
Oh, did we have someone?
Silly Hats has made Joker yesterday. After his probational period, he'll be moved to Jack, a full member of ACES. That's the only one.
Okay then. Oh, well, that's still more than what I had. So, yeah, congratulations. I think is in order for that. Hopefully he'll make a fine member of ACES. If anyone... I just want to make a reminder for all ACES members to get your voting in as well. If you play with someone who is an applicant, make sure that you do get in there and actually put in a +1 or -1 for that person. We don't want to leave them just lingering until they disappear and get no word from us at all. Alright, so upcoming events. Of course, we have our Monday night practices, which is 8 p.m. Eastern. That is every single week. Of course, right after this podcast, we'll be going into practice. And of course, next week, same time, same place. Our Run Hot or Die 4v4 tourney. Do we have a actual date yet for when the next match is?
Not yet. We are currently doing practices, or trying to, but we do not have the round 2 scheduled yet. We are going up against Clan Wolf Delta Galaxy, though. We hope to hear from them sometime this week because we have to fight the match by the 28th.
Okay, that sounds fine. Do you know what the rules are for round 2 right offhand?
Yes, I actually have them. They are best of 5 matches, as was the same with the first round. but there are some new limits for each match, each drop. We are looking at for the first round a 175. Oh, I'm getting a link there for you. And
Yeah, keep going. You can read it out loud just so everybody has
Sorry.
it. Knows
Yeah,
it's
man,
a
just
one
keep-
But
sixty.
it's
reading, man.
a 175 ton limit for the team, so that has to get split across 4 mechs. We have to play on Alpine Peaks. Drop 2 is a chassis limit, so we are looking at 1 light, 1 medium, 1 heavy, and 1 assault. That's going to be played on Canyon Network. Drop 3 is again a chassis limit of 1 light, 2 heavies, 1 assault. That will be on Frozen City, Frozen City Day, not Frozen City Night. Drop 4 is again a chassis limit of 1 medium, 1 heavy, 2 assaults, and that is on River City Day. And drop 5 is again a weight limit match of 275 tons for the 4-man team. That will be played on Forest Colony.
All right, sounds good. Hopefully, we'll be getting some footage of that again, of the 4v4 tournament, and on our stream and on our Twitch and everything like that, and as well, hopefully up on YouTube. So look forward to that. We also have Merrick Civil War number 4, or season 4, I should say. More information is to come to that, but we are in it. I confirmed today and put in an application a couple days ago, but I did get confirmation today that we are in. I put in ACES as the pirate faction, mainly because it guarantees us 1 match minimum. And usually I think they said most of the time it's going to be a maximum, but with everything else going on at the moment, that might not be a bad thing right now. But there is potential to play other matches during a turn as well. But that should be starting up soon. I believe sometime next week, maybe the week after. And it is also going to be, since we are pirate, 8v8. So a little bit smaller teams, and hopefully, again, with everything else going on and time zones and everything like that. So hopefully this might be a little bit better for us. And then maybe if there's a season 5, we can go full frontal again on it. Any update on the NovaCat 6v6 tourney? Did that happen?
Hasn't happened yet. We have not gotten any more information, although let me find the thread and I will post that.
Oh, while Typhus is searching for the thread, we did have the 2v2 over the weekend.
I was just about to say that, and instead of wasting dead air time, how did that 2v2 go over the weekend anyways?
We had a pretty decent showing from ACES. We had Mecha Kaiju, Typhus, myself, Tircon, and Pancake Man was our reserve that subbed in for Thunderheart, who was initially signed up. Unfortunately, he had a family emergency he had to attend to, so Pancake took his spot. And unfortunately, Pancake and Mecha got knocked out in the first round. Typhus made it to round 3, was the semifinals. I made it to round 2. Players that knocked me out also knocked Typhus out, and they were Hikage and Grauger, and they ended up actually winning the entire thing.
Okay, so no feel bads there.
Yep.
But no, still congratulations everyone. Especially semifinal, even round 2 is really good. And as much as I hate to say it, I mean that for the beginning round, I mean you guys got to step it up. No, I'm just playing with you guys. But no, congratulations all around to everybody. I want to thank you guys personally on behalf of ACES for going out there and putting your names forward and putting us at least as a unit representing out there. And I'd like to say, just good job. Hopefully, we'll continue to see these small, even if these small type of events in the future. So
I would definitely encourage players in ACES that even if you aren't into the comp scene for small tournaments that are 2-on-2, it's a great way, to get a feel for it. If you've never, been in the comp scene, it's a lot of fun. In this case, we were not paired up with another ACES member. We were paired up with a member from a completely different clan or merc unit or house unit. And it was a very good experience meeting others in the community and getting to know them and getting to do drops with them and learn their play style and how they approach MWO.
Okay, so I posted this thread for the NovaCat 6v6 tournament. It is a mix. What that means is we've been allotted 2 team slots. So we need 6 pilots, and I would say 6 reserve pilots. So yeah, 6 that are going to play and plan on playing, and then 6 that can pick it up if they can't make it. Which is important because it happened with a lot of people this tournament. It's going to happen on Saturday, October 4th. It's starting at 8 o'clock Eastern Time to whenever. With the 2v2, anything goes, as far as I understand. There are rules up. Preliminary rounds are the same, best of 3. First to win 2 rounds, ties will be replayed, and then the championship is best of 5, win 3 rounds. Yada yada. Other details there, not really important to go over now. If you're interested in playing in the 6v6 tournament, please read over this. And we are currently putting the 2 teams together. We don't have all 6. I think right now the plan on playing are just me and Iron.
I'm interested.
Okay.
So if you guys are interested in joining that 6v6 tourney, make sure you make a post on the link that Typhus provided for us. Another thing I said I would bring up last week is the MWO ladder. And I posted a link here in our TeamSpeak chat. And what this is being run by an individual named Han Solo. Let me bring my window up here again. All right. So it's running both a team ladder and an individual ladder. And if you are interested in that sort of thing, if you are still looking for some of that sweet competitive type thing, I would highly recommend going over this way. Perhaps put ACES on the board there as well. As you can see, there's a number of what they consider the top tier teams on there. So maybe something to check out and consider as well. So this brings us now into our main general fun stuff of the podcast, which is our general chat. So I figured this week, why not let's talk a little bit about mechs, since we have a mech pack kind of coming around the corner. Let's talk about mechs, because that seems to be on the top of everyone's mind right now. So let's talk about the media mechs. And let's open it up the floor a little bit here with this question. Does anyone here know what the role of the media mech is on the battlefield? Just X up and I'll say your name there if you think you know. Rush 2112?
Yep. To me, a media mech's always been a support mech. It supports its heavies and assaults if need be, but mainly not a frontline runner. Take damage kind of coming out of the back and striking, or a fast strike and hit.
I would agree with that. Anyone else?
Anyone else at all? Oh, Pegron? Yep.
Similar to Rush, I've always seen mech as a support for the heaviers and the heavy mechs, the assault mechs, as a skirmisher that can get in and get out. It can act as a light hunter if absolutely needed, but it can't stand toe to toe with the real big boys of the game. But you can get some good heavy DPS builds on them and get in there while the enemy's distracted and wreak havoc.
I mean, all those answers are pretty good. I'm going to just take over again here real quick, unless anyone else has a thought of what they think about a media mech and what it is on the battlefield. Going once.
Go ahead.
All right, so yeah, pretty much just as you said. I view them as a little bit more like a I view them more as like a glass cannon. To me, the medium mech always sits kind of in the midfield. If you were to think you have your support mechs in the rear, your assault mechs in the front, I always like thinking the medium mechs, they carry a lot of pod space and that sort of thing, and you can fit usually a pretty good amount of weaponry on them, hard-hitting weaponry too. But their armor and their speed just doesn't make up for it. So I always figured them sitting between the assaults and the support mechs and kind of doing that thing. Your assaults go in and they're the ones that come right from behind, hit everything, skirt back a little bit as the assaults take the main damage. I mean, does anyone else feel that would be wrong to say, or I think that fits the role pretty well.
Absolutely not. I mean, that sounds like exactly what they do.
I mean, of course, there's always some exceptions, such as like the Cicada with the ECM, and you can play that a little bit more like a harasser or a little bit more heavier of a light mech. But I think on the down at the end of it, I think the mediums stand to be that kind of glass cannon, stay behind the main fight, poke out, that sort of thing. So with that role being defined, that sort of thing, we have a couple mechs that are kind of like a must-have for ACES, or at least in my opinion, are must-have for ACES as far as inner sphere mechs go. I'm not going to get into the clans too much because they're still kind of new, still going through some quirks and tweaks and that sort of stuff, so most competitive teams don't use them unless they're allowed. But yeah, no, the Shadowhawk. I think overall the Shadowhawk is the best medium mech for the inner sphere in the game as of right now. And the reason for that is because it fills the role of the battlefield, which we just defined so well. Like, for example, the 2D, which is, in my opinion, the must-have Shadowhawk. You can fit either a Ghost Rifle or an AC-20 on it, and then 3 medium lasers, and you still got that armor. You got the jump jets for mobility. You got everything going around. So the 2D is a must pick up as far as Shadowhawks go. The next one after that, I would think, would be the 2K. And it's going to sound really weird, but 3 medium lasers and 3 SRMs of any size, so like 3 SRM4s, 3 SRM6s, anything like that, in combination with anything like that, it's a good build. It can do serious damage, especially with the SRM fix and everything like that. And then finally the 2H, and this is where it's going to get a bit weird. I still think the 1 PPC 2 AC5 combo on the 2H is very strong, even though we don't see it a whole lot on the battlefield anymore. But yeah, so what do you guys think about the Shadowhawks in general? I'm going to open up the floor again here for people. Tigron, go ahead.
Personally, I've always favored the 2D2, mainly because you've got 4 missile hard points on it, so you can put, a bunch of SRMs on it, especially with the fix now, to really, really hurt someone. The 2 energy, 1 in each arm, put a medium in each, and nice, good little cleanup weapon after you've stripped armor with those SRMs. I would agree with you on the 2K being really good. Build I've actually been seeing a lot of recently with that though is the long range standoff of 3 ER large lasers in that left torso. It's people who have been playing with them are using them basically as a bigger version of the Raven 3L, of getting behind a hill and just getting that torso up a little bit so that the rest of you is protected, and then just cutting loose with those ER large lasers, and it can be very effective as a support mech in that role.
I might have to build this in Smurfy real quick here and just see how it goes, because that sounds like a very interesting, very powerful build. So we might have to look into that a little bit, because that could still be a very effective build. But yeah, I'd definitely recommend this. If someone wants to experiment with the 2K, I would recommend that. Rush, yes, go ahead.
I have to go with Tricon too. I've been seeing a lot of that 3 ER large on the Shadowhawks. It's becoming more and more popular. So I have not yet to run one. But it looks like it handled it pretty good. So, but I will have to say, I think the 2D2 still makes with 4 streaks, just in 2 larges, makes for a top-notch light hunter.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, you're running 100 plus, and you're doing really good damage, and you can still jump. So, I mean, to me, that's one of the best light hunters there is out there.
Yeah, so actually looking at this build here, yeah, the 2K, I might have to build one now that I'm looking at it. But yeah, I think we might have to do some mech science with this. I think we might have to include this in a couple of our drop decks. Same with the mech hunter. If we know, especially with this 4v4 drop coming up, I mean, it's going to be pretty light mechs. But I mean, so that means the light hunters will be out to play. So maybe we might have to take a couple streak boats. But this brings us to the next question as far as medium mechs go, and something somewhat in the competitive scene that I've noticed take off a little bit recently was the Griffin. A mech that's been largely ignored until the SRM fix, and even then, still a little bit ignored over some other mechs. I have noticed that the Griffin has been getting a lot more playtime, especially in some of the smaller drop weights. I can think back to our last 4v4 match. They always had a Griffin there, streak boat, or not streak boat, SRM boat, splat boat, Griffin in their drop deck at any point in time. What are your guys' thoughts of the Griffin now that changes have come out and missile fix and everything like that? Do you think it's a viable mech to you? What do you guys think of it? I'm going to open up the floor here. Tychron, go ahead.
I definitely like the Griffin. It's my favorite one to run is actually the 3M with that 4 missile hard point in the right torso. I've run both the SRM build on it, and I've also run a LRM 5 build in it, and it works in both roles very well. Torso twist on it, I think, is actually a little bit faster than the Shadowhawks, and it just, for some reason, I don't know if this is just me personally or if anyone else has experienced this. I feel the Griffin is a little bit more agile than the Shadowhawks are. And watching people in game, it seems that others are starting to notice that, as you said, the Griffins are getting a lot more play time. They are definitely something you have to keep an eye out for on the battlefield, because they will sneak up on you, and they will mess you up if you aren't careful.
I agree with that. Cat Spider?
Well, the Griffins are agile, and I actually bought them just because of that. I saw people playing, and I saw some of our own ACES playing with the twin PPC Griffins before the SRMs got fixed. And I've run the double PPC build for a long time, and they're very, very mobile, both jump jet wise and torso twist, and they have a huge range of torso twist compared to the Shadowhawks. But they are not as sturdy, so as soon as you start taking hits, arms fly off. So it's a bit of a trade-off, but the mobility is much better.
Go ahead, Rush.
Yeah, I picked up a Griffin just for that SRM build because I'm a big fan of the multiple SRMs, and I played it for maybe a week and I got rid of it. I mean, I think the Shadowhawk does it better. It takes more hits. Because like Kat said, the Griffins they seem to fall apart really quick. I mean, they move a little bit quicker. They jump, I think, maybe just a hair better, but their armor just seems to not hold up.
Again, I agree with that. I think that the Griffin is more agile, sure, but I prefer the Shadowhawk for the role.
I'm actually kind of curious. I kind of want to see now a Griffin 3M go up against. 'Cause I'm looking at the Griffin 3M here, and I'm thinking you could do an all-right zombie build on that. I think because everything except for one laser slots in the that one in the right arm, but everything else is left torso, right torso, jump jets, and everything like that. I think that could be a potential something we should look into. Is definitely the 3M. Oh, Man of Athens, go ahead.
Yeah, actually, Griffin's one of the only mechs I have a couple chassis of. I have the 3M and the 1N, actually. And I've been running the 1N for the last few days. And my observation is actually, if you throw a standard in it, you just show your left side to anyone. Because it's completely empty. So as long as you keep just showing your left side to anyone, you can soak up a lot of damage on that left side. And you have a good shield arm too. And I've done pretty well. I've had a few games where I did between 400 and 500 damage on it. So as long as you play the role right, you can do pretty well. So I mean, that's just my observation. And sure, it might not be as sturdy as the Shadowhawk, but I wouldn't know that from personal experience. I don't have any Shadowhawks.
Well, I think everybody has had good points. All four of you, Cat, Rush, Athens, and Khan. And to that I would say that, well, the Griffin is a good exchange for the Shadowhawk. If you prefer the Griffin over the Shadowhawk or vice versa, then you can run that if we need a 55-ton build. Next, what else we got?
All right, so next on the list, I want to talk a little bit about the cicada, because the cicada is something I think we should try to incorporate a little bit more, especially if it's going to be a little bit of a heavier mech drop where we have a little bit of playroom. Because I mean, the Raven 3L is nice and all. Same with any of the light mechs, but I'm wondering if we bump it up the extra 5 tons to the cicada, running ECM, large laser poker, just in the same role. What's your guys' experience? Would you rather take like a cicada, or would you rather stick into a light mech, or what do you think about that sort of thing? Von Kessel?
In my opinion, I have been starting to run now the cicada, and I think you don't do it as well as in the 3L because of you have to expose a little bit more for firing those ERs. And you are way bigger on, okay, you are more sturdy on your arms, you can use them to shield, but even with that, I think the 3L can make the job better. I think doesn't worth the 5 tonnage, 5 tons.
Rush, go ahead.
Also, I've noticed with the cicadas, and I completely stopped playing them just for this reason, is because they are technically a medium mech, their fall damage is increased because they fall into the medium category. Is their feet per second they need to drop before they take leg damage, and with having no jump jets and being a medium and running 120, 130, your legs just come right off without even realizing it.
So ECM alone isn't enough to kind of keep the mech alive, is what you're saying, is that it's also the hitboxes and that sort of thing.
I would say about the cicada that, yeah, I agree with what Rush said, since they patched the leg damage. I've been legged several times in my cicada by my own fall damage. But I think the cicada is valuable because it brings ECM. Yes, I know the Raven does also, but the Raven fills a different role than the cicada does. I like seeing cicadas with 2 PPCs. Those can be very, how do you put it, irritating for heavier mechs, especially if you can hit with those PPCs at range.
Especially if you got 2 of them running around type of thing. I see that all the time. 2 people hopping cicadas, run around with PPCs, and they're just positioning themselves properly. Go ahead, Von Kessel. You were going to say something, I believe?
No.
Oh, okay. I just saw you light up there, so I didn't know.
Alright, so we've got basically 8 minutes or so left for the podcast. We want to keep it to 40 minutes. Was there anything else we needed to cover?
As far as right now, I just wanted to bring up real quick something hopefully we'll be constructing and putting together as time goes on, and that is the campaign night. I think we talked about Medium X enough that we can move on to the next topic, or at least the bigger Medium X. So just to give a quick little summary, because I mean we spent about 10 minutes on it. Shadowhawks are definitely a must-have. Griffins are finding a role in the battlefield, and cicadas, as much as we want to see them, are not going to replace the lighter mechs. I think that basically sums up everyone's opinion. So let's move on to the next topic, which is the campaign night. And again, I put out a very rough, very first draft of the rules. Again, tweaking is going to be going on as well as adding new game modes and that sort of stuff. But as you can sort of see, the mechanics are there a little bit, so hopefully we can get some of those going. I'm currently working on Skirmish, Attack and Defend, King of the Hill, and a couple other game modes. VIP is currently there. I kind of want to try this because I want to see how well it works or not. Because it's going to be the iffy one. Because it's going to require basically a player taking a somewhat select path and a little bit more teamwork between people. But yeah, definitely give it a try. If you have ideas or tips or anything like that, make sure to post on the forums in the respected area. But has any of you guys had a chance to read or look over real quick the campaign night rules stuff so far?
I actually read them over. I did leave a comment for you in the forum on it. Most part, I think the rules are pretty self-explanatory. They are well thought out. The only comment that I had at the time was when when you had mentioned in the area about using the dice roller, putting in a link there to the dice roller plugin just to try to get some standardization going for people that would want to participate. I think that way everyone's using the same tool. They can see how it's used. It's also going to eliminate people saying, oh well, you didn't actually roll that, or it's one of those things I've always found with tabletop games. You want to see the dice roll. It's part of the fun. When someone gets that lucky roll or that horribly unlucky roll, it's something that just brings people at the table together.
Yeah, I like the idea. I think it'll be a community-oriented event. It'll be different than the outside third-party tournaments. I think we can get a lot of our guys that don't play competitively to play in it because it'll be fun.
Yeah, and that was the biggest thing behind it as well, is trying to get, because we keep running all the, well, I don't want to say we keep running, it's like it's a negative thing, but we keep doing all these things with the competitive thing in mind. And I mean, we're supposed to be for both competitive and casual. So I've been trying to, as I was saying, trying to brainstorm a way of getting the more non-competitive focused people out, and even some of the competitive focused people out, just to have a good time and interact and that sort of fun thing, and kind of do it in a relaxed, not as serious setting. And I think that's the end game for this type of thing. That's where I'd like to see it go. And maybe even depending, once we get all things revised and stuff like that, maybe we can even then move it into, I don't want to say a more competitive setting, but maybe we can have some other people from different units show up type of thing. But yeah, yes. I definitely want to craft this for ACES primarily, and then after that, see where we can go with it. So as much as you can, please read it, give it a try, that sort of fun stuff, and definitely give feedback, because this is going to be shaped in around what you guys want and what you guys put into it.
One, not to change the subject, but I think that it should be mentioned. I want to start the Pacific Coast practice this next week on Thursday. What do people think about that? We've always had our primary practice on Monday set to the East Coast, but we have a lot of ACES on the Pacific side now. I just moved out here. I know we've got basically like half a dozen ACES within 2-hour drive of Portland, Oregon. Got lots of people in Washington and California. Go ahead, Rush.
I fully agree. I think this has been the biggest problem with the competitive players is just not being able to play at the time that all the East Coast stuff is set at. because I mean, like right now it's 4:30, going to be 5 o'clock on the West Coast, and a lot of people are getting home from work, getting ready to do dinner and stuff like that, and I think a Pacific Coast practice night is going to help a lot.
And I don't think that we should start it at 8 p.m. Pacific time. I think it should be a little earlier, maybe an hour earlier, so like 7, for those people on the East Coast that do want to, practice again. But we also have people in all the time zones here, in the United States.
Yeah, and we have a pretty good strong showing of people playing around that, 8 to midnight.
Yeah. Yeah, but I do want to start that. I'm going to go ahead and post the decision on that extending unit practice night thread that I have up. So next week on Thursday, let's do it. Try to be here at 7. Since we're just starting, we'll start at 8 because that's the normal time people are used to. Try to show up at 7 p.m. All right, well, any closing comments? We got only seconds left.
I've got 2 things to mention. Up on the MechWarrior Online forums in the general discussion, we've been seeing more community interaction from Russ, and he put up 2 interesting polls yesterday. One is on what Inner-Sphere assault mechs could be coming down the pipeline. He put up 3 choices. One is the Charger, one is the Zeus, and the other is the Cyclops. And the other post that he happened to put up was about changing the match quality, of updating basically the elo searching and how groups and players can choose to have a better match, have a more competitive match, about trying to get maps that you want to be on instead of just at random. And there's been some very interesting discussion. I would suggest a lot of people should go and even if you don't comment, just check it out and see what other thoughts are going around the community on this.
Yeah, I think it's probably worth looking at. Everybody should probably look at it.
Also, everyone should vote Zeus just because. I'm just saying. I'm not trying to be biased or anything, but vote Zeus.
I have to go with the Zeus.
Yeah, I voted Zeus too.
I voted Cyclops.
It's one of my favorite mechs in Commander.
Well, I'm sorry, Thunder, but you're wrong.
That being said, I actually one of the mechs I'd be very, because I mean we all know what the Zeus would probably look like if it was a redesign. It's a very simplistic, and I don't want to say simplistic design, but it's pretty iconic. And I mean I don't think it'll change up too much. But the Cyclops, holy shit, does that thing need a makeover? Yeah, like that thing needs a makeover. So if the Cyclops wins, I'm not going to be bummed out because I want to see what they do with it. But Zeus has always just been something close to my heart. Now I'm quite surprised though that the Charger has even broken 100 votes at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Zeus, Cyclops are still, they're both about 800 votes apiece. Just bare percentiles away from each other. So it should be interesting to see how this affects that sort of thing.
There's only 20 votes separating the two currently. It's close. No, actually, it's gotten even closer now since I've said that. It's definitely, people are voicing their opinions on it. I'm Zeus all the way.
The only reason I went for the Cyclops is because I got an AC-20.
Thunder's
you
AC-20.
You guys know me and the AC-20. The love for my AC-20.
Yeah, you guys are married.
AC-20 and 10 tons of armor. So good luck there.
That's
Okay.
just like the Jaeger.
So,
right.
To wrap this podcast up.
All right, to wrap it up here, I just want to thank everybody for coming out to the ACES podcast #1. This has been your host, Brandon, also known as Cattra, Kell, and I just want to let's go give a rundown of everybody in the TeamSpeak now at the beginning. And I mean, we've had probably double the amount of people that were here show up. So we have Pancake
Yeah.
Man himself, the man, the legend. We have Thunderheart, we have Typhus, Cat Spider, Man of Athens, Marcus Aurelius, I'm going to just stutter here for a little bit. Panzer Shriek. Please correct me. I'm horrible at this. Rush 2112, Tychron, and Von Kessel. So thank you guys for coming out. And hopefully next week we'll do this once again. And again, just thank you everybody for coming out, making this happen. See you next week.
And again, we want to thank everyone for coming out, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, guys.
Not a problem.
Shut her down.
Yeah.